Un tur al Ubisoftului. Ce avem aici?
Yes, so I have a true anecdote. If you can come here, I can maybe close this door, just you all fit. So you can have a look. Yes, so I basically wanted to. Is everyone here or that wants to be? Yes? Okay.
Chodźcie, bo komentujesz coś, czego jeszcze nie słyszałeś, pajace.
So, just wanted to give you a true anecdote on how it started with the Division, because it's a quite cool story. Instead of when Massive created this model, they wanted to create a cool way of presenting the idea of the Division to management in Paris. So instead of making like a boring PowerPoint presentation about their game idea, they created this model, which is actually a role-playing game or a board game. So what they did was that they flew over management from Ubisoft Paris here to Malmö, and they were sitting down with them and playing this board game together to explain their game idea. So the different, if you can see the different colors, red, yellow, and blue, they explain the different cover system in the game. So a lot of details in the model have a narrative role. So when choosing red, yellow, or blue, when making that choice, it would change the odds when you rolled the dice of the board game. The red color means good attack position, the blue good defense position, and the yellow a neutral position. So that's the meaning of the different colors. And actually the whole philosophy and a lot of things here in this model is actually in the final game. Maybe not the Swedish police car there, but if you remember the E3 trailer from 2013, it was like kind of an epic moment for many when the player was just like closing the door of the police car.
Was it always planned to be a Tom Clancy game?
Yeah, that was the idea that it would fit into that universe. Yes. So, but this Crossroad, this model was basically the start, right? It's not even a prototype; it's just the idea of a game, and then going from that to world record beta in Ubisoft history, 6.4 million beta players was quite achievement for Massive. So 2 months before the release, of the Division, Ubisoft and Massive knew they had a game that a lot of people were interested in. So this was confirmation 2 months before the release. 6.4 million beta players was quite amazing. And day one sales was company record for a new IP for Ubisoft. It was one of the largest culture export in Sweden. So this was, of course, huge for the Massive studio. It's a great moment. So the next part of the tour is going upstairs. So you can come here. Film, you have some weapon and traps over there. Few people. Everyone is here? Yes? So I don't know if you have seen, have any one of you seen State of the Game?
Yeah.
Yes?
Yes.
So this is actually our Twitch room over here, where our combat team is actually recording State of the Game. So you can enter in real life if you want. If you've seen it online, this is the place.
Oh yeah.
So come in.
Where's the couch?
It's actually refurbished, so they've changed around a bit, but there used to be a couch.
Să studiu pentru State of the Game,
There
gen.
used to be a couch there, but they've done some refurbishment recently. But this is the room where they record State of the Game, where they talk with the Division players.
That's cool. I know the girl that works behind the camera, I think.
Okay.
Do you work here?
Ella, yes.
Ella, exactly. I went to school with her.
Yeah, sorry, I'm PR manager here in Massive.
Okay,
The
yeah.
Corcom team.
Exactly.
So yeah, Ella.
Da, mă, le fac la ăștia altura studioului, să vedeți noi cum e pe aici. Destul de interesant și o clădire foarte mare și care zice că oricum nu mai am spațiu în ea. și se mută la 10 minute mai încolo, unde au cumpărat un bloc întreg să-și facă studio acolo. Pentru că aici nu mai au loc, aparent. Deci, da.
Yes, everyone here?
Yeah?
So, just come in, everyone. Welcome to Massive Sound Studio.
Welcome.
Come on in, so everyone fit the room, so everyone can see. Come on in, everyone. Can everyone fit the room? Is everyone here? Yes, perfect. So this is the Massive Sound Studio, and this is Simon. You wanna tell a bit about yourself?
Sure, why not? My name is Simon. I'm the audio director for The Division 2. It's great to have you guys here. I've been with Massive for 11 years. Worked on the first game together with the team that also sits in this sound studio. But of course, we also collaborate a lot with our co-dev partners. So yeah, worked a lot on the first game. It was my first game as an audio director, and obviously for the second one, going into it, I'm like, okay, how can we improve it? And of course, I wanted to improve everything, but we have our priorities and our time, so we decided to focus on certain parts and elements. Do you guys have any questions specifically about audio?
What kind of do you do mastering, or do you like create the audio effects, or?
We do everything. I mean, it's everything from the design, they're coming up with ideas for what type of sound do we want this feature to have, or the world to have, or this gun to have, to actually going through and realizing the recording for that. If it's a gun shoot. If it's a city, we actually went to Washington DC to record the sounds for this game. Speaking of that, we actually spent 10 days there, recording mostly at night to avoid traffic and pedestrians and stuff like that. So we recorded the sounds of the city, the sounds of the wildlife, like all of the birds that you hear in the game are like meticulously researched to be that specific species that plays at the right time of day, and so on and so forth. So research and authenticity is something that's very important to us. But yeah, we do kind of all the process ourselves. But for me, it's partially about capturing great assets and unique assets, but it's also then about how you implement them, right? So that's actually quite a big learning that we had from the first game, is that I think we have the record in Ubisoft for longest average playtime.
Okay.
Which means that our players don't stay in the game for 5 minutes, they stay in the game for an hour or maybe more, because it's that type of game, RPG and online and all that stuff. So one of the things we wanted to improve with the second one is actually how the world and the audio of the world is connected with all the game systems, making sure that there's never repetition. There's always it's based on the time of day and the weather and the biome you're in. You're always going to have a unique experience. And speaking of that too, we also thought let's utilize all this geometry that the level design guys built, right? So we're looking for instance, if you're firing a weapon, we're looking at are you at a street or an alley or like a big square, and that's taking into account for weapon reflections and so on and so forth. For interiors, we actually check for the room sizes of the buildings and the materials on the walls to generate a unique reverb for each space. So it's not like a blanket solution where it's like small, medium, large. It's actually unique anywhere you go. So yeah, there's a couple of tricks that we've been working on.
Isn't that really demanding for their CPUs or whatever, to calculate all that stuff at the same time?
Absolutely, but it's we have on our team we have about 6 audio programmers that are constantly working on improving the systems, right? And it's about finding smart tricks, like do you really need to update this if you're not moving? Do you care about stuff that's behind you? Just basically optimizations for all these systems to basically make sure that we are staying within the CPU budget.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Cool.
Here. Or no? Anyway, we don't always have to go to Chernobyl or to Washington DC to record the sounds. This is what's called the Foley room. It's it's a little small, but this is where we can record anything. Like let's say we're making a cutscene, right? And we need to record the sound of the cloth of the soldiers moving, like that. And we can use stuff like this, right?
Yeah.
If we wanted to record the sound of reload, it's a software gun, so it's not a real one. But it still makes a sound that's kind of okay, cool, we have some variations of that. Or ammo belts that you have, and if they're tingling on the cloth or on the gun, if you want to record like gun handling and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Always move around like this.
How do you record gunfire?
Well, gunfire, we actually record that outside, not in a room like this, because that would be terribly loud. So for the gun shoots, we usually go to good places to record guns would be either like in the snowy land, there's no one around, or in the desert, or somewhere very abandoned where there's not too much stuff going on in the reflections. This is another personal favorite of mine, which is, I think, was a shoe cream thing, but you can make like a sound of a mortar. Like, you know, like that
Okay,
type of stuff.
nice.
When you do it a couple of times,
That's so
and just go
cool.
boom. So yeah, it's just about being creative. But sometimes, you know, like if the NPCs have like grenades on them, you can record the sounds of grenades shaking. But actually, sometimes you just record the sound like this as well.
Isn't it
You know, if a character puts
Yeah.
a coffee cup, you need to record the coffee cup. There's no library saying pro coffee cup library. You just have to.
We can have the drone sound from here.
Isn't it easy to just like forget to record a sound effect? Like, don't you just like you have to think of everything? Like everything has
Yep.
to be have a sound.
Yeah.
How do you do that? It's crazy, really, when you think about it.
It is crazy, yeah, but I think it's like the game itself is that gives us the constraints, right? So we know, right, we have guns, we have, you know, this world, we have these cutscenes with this stuff, and yeah, I think it's just about being creative and coming up with stuff. Like sometimes it's just about, you know, footsteps on wood or whatever it is. So, but it's all about kind of dividing it up in chunks and attacking each chunk without it going crazy, basically.
Nice.
Yeah. You know the Seeker Mine from the first game?
Yeah.
That's the sound of my cat.
Really?
What?
Wait, which part of it? That we deploy it?
When it rolls, it goes.
Oh my god.
It's just like a cat purring, you know. When yeah.
I remember. I think it was the lightsaber sound effect for Star Wars, wasn't it? That's
Yeah.
Ei, asta a fost canalul de fac ei sunetele și efectele speciale, unele dintre ele. Și e foarte, foarte tare, chiar mișto. Hei, dacă ți-a plăcut videoul, nu uita să apeși butonul de like, apreciez enorm. Dacă vrei să te uiți și la alte videouri, click chiar aici pentru videoul anterior sau aici pentru video random. Iar dacă îți place canalul, abonează-te chiar acum. Click pe fața mea. Gen, știu că poți face asta, am încredere în tine.